This week's victory by Judge Roy Moore in Alabama's Senate primary sent shockwaves through the Republican establishment and potentially shows the way for other outsider candidates like him to challenge incumbents across a whole variety of states. So what sort of a picture does that paint for the future of the GOP? I want to bring in Dr. Larry Powell from the University of Alabama at Birmingham to bring us his thoughts on this. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for being with us today. I want to first get your thoughts on the primary that we just saw. To some, the outcome was rather surprising. It was a very heated contest up until the very final day. What do you make of what happened?
Well, it was a situation in which neither candidate was particularly liked, even by Republicans. And it was a matter of not who you were going to vote for, but who you would vote against. And there was more anti-vote going toward Roy Moore than Luther Strange was able to get.
Now, Dr. Powell, I know that you don't believe this primary was a referendum on the president, but wasn't it in some ways a test of his political prowess, for lack of a better word, at least with his base, at least with his most ardent supporters who showed they weren't willing to go along with him on this? They weren't willing to throw their weight behind Senator Strange, the candidate that he endorsed.
No, he had no impact on the runoff whatsoever. He had an impact on the first primary because it allowed Luther Strange to separate himself from Mo Brooks and make the runoff. But in the process, they made the Mo Brooks supporters mad, and they all shifted to Roy Moore in the runoff, and that doomed Luther Strange to defeat.
The special election itself is coming up in just a couple of months in December. Can you break down for us what you see as the judge's prospects for beating his opponent in this? Do you think they're, over under? What's your best guess for us?
Well, Judge Moore is in a strong position to win the special election. Republicans have a 20-point advantage in the state. Now the Democrats have a strong candidate in Doug Jones. And he's going to get some Republican defectors who don't like either one of the other candidates, who didn't like either one of the other candidates in the runoff. So he'll pick up some of those. But can he close a 20-point gap? That's going to be mighty tough.
And if he does manage to close the 20-point gap and come out on top, what do you think he can expect in Washington? I mean, in some ways, if you think about it, he's in a comparable position to the president in the sense that he's anti the establishment. He sort of bills himself as the non-politician politician. He uses the kind of rhetoric that he pleases and doesn't bend to pressure. Do you think that he's going to have a really tough time making it in the U.S. Congress?
Roy Moore will not fit well within the U.S. Senate. He will not be comfortable there, and the Republican Senate leaders will not be comfortable with him. They're going to have trouble working with him, and he's going to have trouble working with them.
Well, thank you, Dr. Powell, for those succinct words for us on this day. We look forward to having you again soon.
Well, thank you.